All right, we're good. Good morning. What's up? Sunday morning. Sunday morning coming down. Anybody Johnny Cash fans out there? Sunday morning coming down. My favorite Johnny Cash song. I know it wasn't Johnny Cash, but he sang it best, I think. I like him. So I told everybody we'd be live today. We had not really. I'm trying to get one more chat up so I can see everybody. Give me a minute. Good. All right. So what's up, man? Models have turned again in a good way, except for Bermuda. Have you ever seen the models so wrong? What a year it's been. Terrible. Models have been very disappointing this year. All of them. Not just one. All of them. What the heck is going on? But anyway, so I'm going to keep you up to date. We really don't have a lot to talk about. The good news is the storm is making that hard right turn. Nothing looking in the future, John Walsh. Morning there, Kingsland, Georgia. Morning, Daytona Beach. What's up, KRJ? Go Bucks, Daniel. Heck yeah, we're going today. Anybody going to the Bucks game? Michael, what's up, buddy? Calvin, crazy models up and down. CC. No, models aren't going to change, Taylor. It's too close. East Coast Florida wins? Yes, there's a good chance of that. We're going to talk about that, I promise. Good morning, Gisela. Is that right? Bermuda definitely watching again, yes. We're going to go over it all. Thanks, Doodle Butt. Thanks, Easy Rider from Cape Coral. Man, what a wild few days. One, Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire. You know, my good buddy Phil, who saved the day with the website, I might tell that story here in a second. One time we were camping, true story. We had a fire pit, and someone used lighter fluid and lit a ring of fire around Phil because he was sleeping on the ground. And someone lit it and sang Ring of Fire. Go Eagles. Michelle, we might have to ban you. Rochelle, good morning. Bucks are like really big underdogs, by the way. So cheers to Louie. No dogs today. We'll be live tomorrow. Keisha from Bahamas, you're getting some storms down there. I feel bad for anybody cruising today because it's kind of rainy and nasty down there. Not bad, but not seeing anything in the future to get worked up about. We are all model readers. Is this safe to put out your 10-foot Skelly yet? I think so. I'm excited about it. I'm going to start doing my Halloween stuff pretty soon. Julie's watching the Viking game right now. Vikings and Steelers are over there in Ireland. I think I heard they put it on a big piece of wood or something. I don't know. So we have family in Alaska. They had, what time is it out there? 5 o'clock? 5:30 in the morning. It's 5:30 in Alaska, and they're watching the Vikings game. The timer. Oh, crap. I forgot to turn off the timer. Jeez. Oh, wow. That's two things. Our brew crew ran out of hours, so I had to reset the hours. Yeah, Tammy, man, definitely. Everybody, you know, there's a lot of. Who's Jonathan? Brandy, tell me about that. I want to know who you're talking about. Oh, really? Oh. So how y'all doing? Did you have a good night? We did. We went to TVC, had a little dinner there. It was great. We had a little fire pit in the back, lit some fireworks off. Sharon, did you hear any anybody in Oldsmar hear any fireworks yesterday over by Racetrack Road about 10:30 at night? Did anybody in Tampa Bay see fireworks last night? It wasn't me. So, all right, we're going to talk about some weather here, as I promised. And I'm going to go for my walk. I'm excited about the walk. I really am, actually.
Emily said she wants to go with you.
Oh, Emily's walking. Emily came on, by the way. Emily. All right. So here it is, the breakdown. We're going to try to keep looking at comments. So appreciate everybody's patience through this website saga. I think everything's back. Long story short, I knew I was going to have extra traffic. I spend as much. The comments that said I'm a tightwad and I'm paying $10 a month. I'm with GoDaddy. I don't care. I called them out last night. I tell them I spend the most amount of money to give me the best server, and they promise me every year, like, you have the best server, the most dedicated IP, you got the highest security. So I called up a couple days ago and I said, hey, do you have any better plans? I want to make sure we have things working. Everything's always worked great. Yeah, we got a better plan. They obviously sold me a better plan. Well, when they switched over to the new server, the IP6 code got corrupted, and that's what Phil figured out. So we had 4 support tickets. Every time I called, they promised me it would be fixed. Every time I called, I was on hold or talked to them for 2 hours straight. Every time they promised. Phil figured it out on his own. Phil figured out how to go into the backside. Phil was on phone support with tech, having them fix it. And then we had a security issue. And again, Phil figured that out. So I'm very disappointed. I'm very, the thing that pissed me off more than anything was trying to stress the importance of this website and how long. I've been there 15 years plus, 20 years maybe. I don't know, 15 years at least. I'm like, listen, you guys have been great. It's the number one tropics website. There's a hurricane coming. There's millions of people that need this website. Nobody cares. That's what pissed me off. You're talking to robots. People have become robots. Like, escalate this. So then you are now escalated. Okay. 6 hours went by without an email. Like, are you kidding me? Like, come on. Pisses me off. What's happened to customer service? So, God, man, that's $1 billion company, right? And Phil had to fix it because nobody there could. And that's a true story. And they screwed it up. Proof. I have 100% proof. And they didn't care. And that pisses me off. Thank goodness it wasn't a serious situation, So, valuable lesson learned, obviously. It won't be happening again. John B., you heard us last night. Oh, my God. Okay, well, it didn't last too long, did it? So there you go. I paid as much money. Anyway, yeah. Well, I'm not about the money. About service. But anyway, enough of that. But that was the saga. What was beyond my control. The reason it happened was I was trying to be better. They assured me it'd be a 15-minute process. Turned into 2 days. Woo, enough of that. All right, so here's what we got. We got tropics. We got TD9 in the Bahamas now, bringing some squally, stormy, rainy weather. We got a frontal line that's mingling with, pulling it northward. We got Humberto, that rare Category 5, second Category 5 of the season, forming over 82 degrees water. I'll never post the water. Well, I might never say never. I am not posting anything about water temperatures again. Because 82 degrees, we've had 2 Cat 5s form over 82 degrees. It's a lot more than water temperatures. But water temperatures help. But 88 degrees water does not guarantee a Cat 5. Bottom line, it takes a lot more than that. All right. Here's the current look. Nothing else out there brewing. This is your main map that shows all the stuff out there, and there's nothing. So, Epic wants to know they're going to do the dance and combine. Not likely. Probably going to follow each other. Maybe way up in the Northeast Atlantic. So, Shelly, the reason I went with GoDaddy back in the day because they supported NASCAR, and I might stay with them. I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't mind calling them out. That's like leaving a review, right? I waited to call them out too, man. But last night, what did it to me last night? We were at dinner, Tampa Bay Brewing Company. We had a certificate issue for some reason. www now was messed up, and it was on their end, and I was on hold. They said 15 minutes. So I put the phone on speaker. Hour 20 went by. And I finally hung up. Hour 20 on hold. So, GoDaddy responded to my post. Good. What did they say? too late now. And then I had a bot messaging me. I'm like, are you a real person? All right, so anyway, this is that. So Humberto here, holy moly, holy cow, look at that thing. Cat 4, man, terrible. Yeah, tell me this is an AI response. We're sorry to hear you had a negative experience. Would we be happy to take a closer look at the situation? That's what Chevy did when I blew my motor up. And then because then I got connected with Chevy and they were going to help me with warranty information. Whatever. They don't care. That thing is amazing though. So we have a Humberto Category 4. Luckily for Bermuda, it's probably going to pass off to the west and then it's going to go northeast. So amazing. Amazing that it dodged another one. Aaron went to the side. Humberto went to the side. 2 major hurricanes. There you go. And spaghetti models here in Tropical Tidbits confirming most all of them here. If you're wondering where it's at, right here. So, Lori Rye, you're safe. All right. Again, well, I just pointed this out. This is a cool map. But what's just amazing for me this year, watching Aaron and Humberto, ocean heat content is not that hot, honestly. I mean, it's there, but not like we see in the Caribbean and Gulf. Sea surface temperatures were 82 degrees here when this thing formed in this lighter orange. Crazy. You know, when you look at the water temperatures of the whole basin, you know, this basically formed here as a Cat 5. I can't get my pointer to work, but you get the idea. So anyway, all right, enough of that. All right, here is the latest on Tropical Depression 9. It's got a center of circulation. I'm going to show you. You can see it developing. Tropical storm warnings for all the Bahamas there. Tropical storm watches in yellow. They might go to warnings. I don't know. They would only go to warnings not for a direct hit, but for feeder bands, okay, or coastal impacts. Remember, tropical storm conditions could mean a lot of things. It could mean rain. It could be winds. It could be surf and surge. How about all these state of emergencies that were declared, and they're probably not going to get anything? That's incredible. It's just crazy. Morning. Trey Baker, what's up? St. Lucie, yeah, you're going to get, it is, hey, I agree, it is a good-looking hurricane. As long as it doesn't affect anybody. It's okay to say that. God, why does my phone, so I'm trying to read, now I can't get back to my, somehow TikTok does there. Then I go to another page. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, tornadoes, Angel. Yep. We do have private techies. His name's Phil. Anyway, hey, whatever. All right. So definitely we're going to show the possibility of bands coming up through Florida. Bermuda, look at that. They've been watching storms all year. This is not a fish storm if it's pointing straight toward an island of 64,000 people. All right, cool. There's that. All right. I didn't mean cool them. I just meant here's where we at. All right, TroubleTidbits.com, latest modeling. Let's refresh it. Let's see if there's any outliers. Have you ever seen a hard right turn like that? By the way, I meant to keep this one short because I want to go walking. When you have these spaghetti models, and official spaghetti models, OFCL, and you have TVCN, I just haven't seen a system do this in a long time. Totally go 180 in 2 days. But hey, did it for the right way this time. All right, so let's hit a refresh, 12Z. Oh, there's still, oh, there we go. All right, there we go. No big change. That's it. Okay, that's it. Bermuda watching, yes. And we'll show you the latest on that. But that's it. I mean, come on. You know, Carolinas are under state of emergency. I'm seeing a bunch of comments of people in the Carolinas and Georgia worried. I get it. The forecast was coming your way a couple days ago, and they issued a state of emergency, not me. So it's like, you know, I only report what the models are showing, and I believed from the models that we were going to see something. You know, remember last year with Raphael? There was a lot of support. People didn't want to see it. I kept covering it because at one time Raphael was doing the same thing as Helene and Ian and Milton, and luckily Raphael turned into the other direction. But models change, but you got to be prepared and know what's possibly coming if all we got are models. Nostradamus isn't a weather predictor, but it's coming down to these fronts. The fronts have ruled the season. If you've been listening to our lives this year, since August, we've had cold fronts. Cold fronts are natural roadblocks. And look at what's happening. I know Humberto's a big part of it, but there's still a big cold front currently. Cold fronts have ruled the season. Cold fronts turn systems. That's been ruling the season. Common sense from day one was, hey, we got a cold front coming. How is this thing going to penetrate this cold front and go, But there's your cold front currently. Right there. Typically, systems do that. The only reason this one's doing that is it's got a little more gap opening because of Humberto. So that's where we're at. All right, what's it look like? Here's what it looks like. We got some dry air over Florida. It's going to wrap around as this system comes north. Tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday might be beautiful weather in the southeast because we're going to have dry air rotating around this system. You can see that coming into the scene here across Florida with the dry water vapor. You start to see a slight level of circulation here, honestly. You can really see it pretty well right there. Look at that. You see a spin, see a little spin right there? And then look at this bubble of convection right there. So it is, it's forming. It's getting there. Nothing to stress about. Bahamas for sure, though. You got a developing tropical storm over top of you. So it's going to be squally, stormy. And it'll be out of there in a day or so. Remember, on Tropical Tidbits, you can always look at timestamps, too. 24 hours from now, 48 hours from now, 72 hours from now. So tomorrow it's still going to be hanging around the Bahamas. It's going to make that turn probably on Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, 72 hours. And Sunday. So there you go. Does that make sense? And then, so Bermuda's obviously watching Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, and there's convection. There's this bubble. There's that bubble right by center right here. There you go, right there. See? There's this. That's the center right there. All right, waves. This is the current wave map on Euro. Still going to have some big waves. Come on. We got the hurricane possibly out there in the Atlantic. So yellow's 10. You don't even see yellow. Orange is 13, 14, 15, 16. Red's 20 foot. So we're going to have some pretty big seas all the way up and down the east coast here. So that's, going to be pushing in. This is waves through Wednesday. 00ZJ, that's just a timestamp. That runs around midnight. Usually 6Z's around 6 a.m., 12Z's around noon, 18Z's around 6 p.m. It's just the freshest model. 6Z is the freshest model data out now, and then around noon we'll start getting 12Z runs. So I still don't figure it out. If you look at my page, look. If you want a conversion, no, that ain't it. What am I doing? Hey, where did my current UTC time thing go? Where did that go? Not there no more. Where did that go? I haven't noticed. Oh my God, what's going on? Uh-oh. Oh, my browser almost cut on me. I have to fix that. I don't know, my current UTC time. I don't know how long that's been going. Anyway, right here is a conversion. Models run on Z time. If you click on this, there's Z time, and if you want a conversion, there's one above it that says time conversion, and you can basically see when it's 00Z, that's, where we're at. So you can get a conversion there. All right. Wave map, still going to be some big waves. Rain maps have came way down. This is based on a blend of models. So we're still going to get some coastal rains, but nothing like we were looking at. See, even Florida going to get some rains. We're going to have feeder bands. We're going to look at some estimated radar here in a second. Oh, my God. I got you. So anyway, passive rain bands. Pretty cool to see this, where it's going to go though, as far as staying off the coastline. Coastal action, 2 inches. This is rain through Thursday. Panhandle's dry. Everything's dry because we're going to have a lot of dry air wrapping in on the backside of this thing. Look at that. No rain for me for a week. No rain in the upper Gulf for nobody. Time to decorate for Halloween. But at least we're not seeing those crazy 20-inch rains that we saw a couple days ago, right? This is a cool little map here that shows how the models have absolutely changed. The hurricane-specific models, HMON, HWRF, Haas, and GFS, these are all American-based, I believe. And then the current batch has everyone. So even they were wrong. There you go. All right. We don't need to look at ensembles. We're gonna wait. So let's look at. I don't even want to. I just want to look at local impacts now. There's GFS. So let's zoom in on tropical tidbits here. Look at rain bands, and then actually, I do want to look back at Bermuda. So getting very close to Bermuda, 973 on Thursday morning. We have people in Bermuda watching, so that's a 973 hurricane. Euro, a little to the south. That's 6Z. 00Z, a little to the south. Euro AI, almost there. Canadian, almost there. So definitely Bermuda's watching for about a Wednesday afternoon night approach. But let's look at hurricane specific because we can look at everything on this one. All right, so we're going to look at rainfall bands. Let me do precipitation. This will show you kind of how we might have some rain bands into Florida here. So it's expected by tomorrow morning to be 992 pressure. That's a definitely storm. If you're in the Bahamas, this is what it's going to look like. It's sloppy today, but look at these bands setting up tomorrow. That's been the look all along. But we're going to start to see some of these bands late tonight, tomorrow. See those bands already into Florida? That's why your rain chances are showing it. But some of these can swing around and get pretty close. Shelly's going to get a little bit over there in the middle part of the state. Some of these are going to reach Georgia. A couple outer bands. So, look at that. That's Tuesday morning. That's all we got. Outer bands. And then, let's see where Bermuda's at on this map. I don't even see it. There. Nope. Oh, I can never find it. Where are you? Where are you, Bermuda? I don't know if this goes out enough or not. We can look at parent model, though. We can see it a lot better for Bermuda. Because it's it kind of dissolves it, which is kind of weird. I don't know why I would do that, but that'd be good news. There's going to be some wind shear. So it might, staying a little south like the Euro, but it's weakening a lot on the HWRF. All right. So let's take a look at the Haas A and look at the development. 988 tomorrow over Bahamas. So you're definitely going to feel a storm tonight and tomorrow down in the Bahamas for sure. Man, that could be, pretty strong little tropical storm if this thing gets spinning. These are 10-meter winds. This is what it might look like tomorrow morning when we wake up. But see, some of these bands are going to be reaching the state. Nothing to stress about. There's the island. So yeah, this is a little closer for Bermuda. This is Thursday morning, just to the north. 968. That's a decent little hurricane there for Bermuda maybe this week. All right, Haas B. Just a few passing bands starting. Some are going to get some tonight, actually. But there you go. Kind of gets confused with leftover Humberto, I think, in the modeling. That's all I got to say. Thought it'd be fun to do a refresh here. Yesterday I was going to refresh and see if a Bermuda Air ad popped up, because yesterday it did. We'll see. Now I can get the ads to pop up. Figured that might have been fate to go to Bermuda. All right, here we go. Here's the ad. I have ad click or ad Nope. Man, did the same thing yesterday. Lights for my truck. You know, Google ads are based on your search history. So I have an Emeka brandy, right? All right, 10 to 15 days out. Good point. I already had these up for everybody. 15 days. I can't believe this, really, honestly, which is great. I mean, people think I'm sad. There's no storm. Do I look sad? Jacksonville should not be concerned. Nobody should be concerned. No one should be concerned right now. The stress now is back to zero almost. No, a passing feeder band is no worse than an afternoon thunderstorm. That's reality. Surge might come up along the beaches. That's probably the biggest issue more than anything. It's going to be the winds and the waves across the Atlantic coast. That's, those are legitimate concerns. But nobody's, safety's involved, unless you're swimming or surfing. That's, but that's your choice to go out there and do that. But 15 days, look at that. This is the latest Euro, 15 days. Here's the latest GFS. So I can't see any areas to talk about that would make any sense to talk about. We can make something up if you want. But I don't do that. So let's say hi for a few more minutes. I'm going to go for my walk. I actually feel good about it today. Let's talk about the cooler air, though. I do want to talk about that. Let's go back to tropical tidbits. I love looking at this kind of maps here. Let's look at let's look at this dry air that's coming into play across the southeast. Brown is dry air. Look at that dry air wrapping around the system, pulling in some cold meaning a couple degrees. My dad told me something. Dear old dad. Tracked weather his whole life. I found out my brother did a speech in high school about hurricanes when he was a kid. So we must have weather genes. But my dad was thinking about this, Floridians, think about this. Usually the first 60-degree days we get are because of tropical systems. Because tropical systems rotate and they bring down the winds farther from the north. And that brings in dry, cooler air. And it doesn't come across the water, because look at that angle. The water warms the air. So we're going to have some dry conditions as this thing passes by. Pretty neat, huh? So, dry air typically always hey, Tammy Harvick. It's just dry air from a frontal line. Frontal lines clear things. You ever notice when we have a front, it's so crisp blue sky? It's just nature's way of pushing everything away. It's like a mop. It's like a whoosh. And everything, it just goes with the front. And then you got this crisp air, high pressure, basically makes it crispy, blue, and nice. Jellyfish wants to know, is it true that storms are going to hit each other? No. Maybe down the road in the Atlantic, maybe they'll merge. Nobody cares. Danielle talking about Milton tornadoes. I believe it. That was a very weird phenomenon, but it was jet stream last year. Back when we had Milton down here, we had a lot of jet stream influence, and these bands came across, and they were forming down here in the Keys, and they were getting a lot of shear and lift, and we were getting a lot of Midwestern style atmospheric conditions that created these crazy tornadoes. It's been quiet, Florida. Yes, I agree. You know what, though? This will be like 9 or 10 storms. Everybody judges an active season based on impacts. We don't get impacts. People think it's a slow season. We've already had 2 Cat 5s. I mean, it's like Mother Nature doesn't define a hurricane season based on landfall. And sometimes these numbers are very tricky because you gauge a season on impacts. Somebody said that it's because there's no cloud seeding is illegal now. Maybe. I don't know. Not my cup of tea. Oh, anyway, thank you for that. Who was that said that? Thank you, Patsy. Frostproof. Hey, I got a friend that lives in Frostproof. What happens the day you have frost at Frostproof? Is this a weather page? What are you talking about? Oh, but you put smiley faces, so I think that's okay. Give us an update, Ryan. Nothing to worry about. No, Tampa's not going to get hit. I think the TikTok world has a lot of misinformation out there. David, my buddy, what are you doing over there? Daytona Beach, you're going to get some squally, wavy weather. For sure. It's going to, I might even make a trip over there. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll head over there in the morning. Nothing at all. Why? Just because my truck needs to run. It's become a permanent yard ornament. No strong winds yet, Jamie. That's why we don't have a tropical storm warning in place. We're going to have gusts. Let's look at the gust map, by the way. Good question. Oh, there's a couple different things we can look at here. We can look at a 72-hour wind map, gust map here. If I can ever find it. Here is the current gust map. And you don't want these gusts. That would have been bad. But, 30. Nothing more than a afternoon thunderstorm. Problem is, if we get sustained winds, they're going to have to pull buses off the road because of the tropical storm warnings. So it's a big decision they have to make if we get tropical storm warnings in place, because then schools close. And here's Florida. So yeah, it's going to be good. Gusty winds. We're going to have a lot of waves coming in on the top side of this thing as it rotates. I showed you the sea map. We got some pretty big 15, 20-foot seas right off the coast. So it's going to be choppy over there, just like Aaron. Yeah, Kevin, that was weird. Euro had it stalling. No school will be... Kids always love a hurricane day, right? Rally, you have nothing more. You've already got your rain from the front. It will be Tuesday night. It should be nice. Dying, is that right? Still could have some squally weather north, east side of Florida, maybe. But not likely. Storm chasing in a boat? No way, man. Is that a joke? That would be terrible. I know some guys at FWC, though, that Matthew would take me out there. But anyway, all right. Well, I promised everybody we'd be live today. We'd try to look at some comments. Appreciate it on your Sunday. I hope you have a great Sunday. If I decide to go to the East Coast, we might not be live tomorrow, but we should be live tomorrow. Depends how bored I am. Oh no, I got a damn doctor's appointment tomorrow. Maybe I'll go after my doctor's appointment. Winds for Bahamas, tricky Bahamas forecast. So I think you might have a legitimate tropical storm forming over you tomorrow. If you look at these pressure readings down in the Bahamas, a lot of it's definitely what happens today. But look at some of these models here, which I do believe in intensity. And it goes back to what we said last year. These higher intensity models are good for storm intensity, but I don't think their tracks are great. All the models have failed this year. Google did pretty good once we had an established low, but you got to remember the Google ensembles is all we had for a long time, and they were all over the place just as bad. They were hitting Florida, going in the Gulf, so it did a good job once we had a system. I will admit, Google once the DeepMind ran, it was, I think, leaning towards this idea. So we can look back at that. Problem is we post all these ensembles before we actually have a system, and they're just as bad. So, the haters out there might say, why do you waste your time talking about something that's going to change? That's what we like to do. And then I would be like, then why are you worried about looking at pages that do this? Because that's what I do. So if it's silly to worry about a system with ensembles, then don't even look at them because there's a lot of people that want to look at them. Does that make sense? I don't know. However, let's look at the winds, 10-meter winds tomorrow. So, things are going to start getting a little dicey here tonight. Green is tropical storm force winds. And then if this thing starts to develop, it can get pretty, hairy there. This is 987 pressure. This is borderline hurricane tomorrow morning. Borderline for the Bahamas. Borderline hurricane tomorrow. There you go. So, yeah, a lot of boats. Yeah, Zach, it's moving a little bit. I tell you, the best way to look at the system would be this graphic right here. I really like it. You can kind of follow the center. It's moving very slow. I agree. But it's only going to be here tomorrow morning, so it should be there tomorrow. Got a decent little spin to it, though, for sure. I'm pretty sure. I didn't even look at this today, but it is spinning. There it is, right there. So it's definitely there, south of there. So you can see it in satellite, right there. So all right, well, I'm gonna sign off. So have a great day. I do look at simulated satellite. Yeah, Euro's got a great way to do that. Let's see here. Let's look at the even the HRR are pretty good at systems that aren't developed yet. This is simulated IR tomorrow. Anyway, all right, I'm going to sign off. We'll see y'all maybe tomorrow, okay? So appreciate all the possible new followers. Hope you... borderline hurricane pressure is around 995, I would say, 990. Anything under 990 usually is a hurricane. So, HF, thanks, buddy. That's nice of you, man. I will have one on you at the Bucks game. And if, I might post a couple of Bucks pictures today, so I apologize, Charleston Reigns, you're just going to get what you got from the front line. I don't think this is going to bring you anything. So, there you go. Well, there you go, Holly. Thank you. Appreciate that. Algorithm, shady art. Cool. Thank you there, Celia. Yeah, I'm going to do a post right now, actually, for the Bahamas when I get back from my little walk. So, because that is something to definitely be concerned about down there. A lot of boats and stuff. So, tomorrow morning could be interesting in the Bahamas. So. And it's going to be so close to Florida, which is so weird. Another skirt. All right. See you later.